Good morning. I'm delighted to be here with all of you, with Fran, with Craig, and with Hurricane Alice. You should know that Alice Rogoff and David Rubenstein and I all worked together in the Carter White House almost 4 decades ago when the National Security Advisor was a fellow named Zbigniew Brzezinski, Mark's father. So I guess that dates us a little. I also have to say that growing up in Los Angeles, California, the area I represented in Congress for almost 9 terms, I lived near the beach, and I never imagined that I was part of an Arctic nation. But I do now. It is really wonderful to be in Iceland and to lend the Wilson Center's voice and commitment to the challenges and opportunities we face in a changing Arctic. Rather than review the list of many pressing issues which all of you understand certainly as well as I do, let me tell you why I'm here and how the Wilson Center can and wants to partner with many of you to support, enhance, and create policy-focused initiatives that will address the so-called practical issues facing the Arctic. The Wilson Center was chartered by the U.S. Congress almost 50 years ago. That makes us a federal trust entity to bridge the worlds of scholarship and policy. We are the living memorial to our 28th president, our only PhD president, Woodrow Wilson. We are the only think tank in Washington to house a broad-based initiative on the Arctic, a region experiencing, as you know, massive shifts in climate, security, development, and trade, driving an increase in its geopolitical significance. The center has been voted by our peers as one of the top 5 U.S. think tanks and top 9 in the world, and we were just ranked number 1, this is what's relevant, in a new category, Transdisciplinary Research, which is exactly the kind of strategy needed to address the multi-sector, multinational challenges facing the Arctic. We simply cannot view the complex issues before us through a single lens. Rather, we need to bring to bear expertise, insight, and perspectives from many disciplines to mitigate the challenges ahead while embracing the opportunities for the future. And perhaps most important, we are nonpartisan, and we do work based on facts. In this post-factual election in the United States, we thought it might be good to have a fact-based initiative about the Arctic. So it is with this background, thank you, that I announce today that the Wilson Center, with enormous support from our friends, especially Hurricane Alice, will launch in the coming weeks a new and revitalized polar initiative. Building on the strength of this center's globally recognized programs on Canada, Russia, and the former Soviet Union, and environmental security, our polar initiative will incorporate economics, trade, human security, and environmental issues in our work on the Arctic's geopolitical relevance. Let me tell you, in fact, I don't really need to tell you, and in the interest of time, why this is important to do. But I do want to say that as the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, we currently house 4 rock stars who are relevant to our work, and we will shortly announce a new director for this initiative, someone many of you know. Stay tuned 2 weeks from now. But we have Sherry Goodman, who was the first Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Environmental Security. She works at the Wilson Center as a public policy fellow in conjunction with the Arctic Institute. Ambassador Kenneth Yalowitz is the former ambassador to Belarus and Georgia and is focused on the Russian perspective, which obviously is very relevant on the Arctic. He's a global fellow. And Dr. Stacy Clausen is using a fellowship at the Aleksanteri Institute in Helsinki to assess Russia's foreign policy for the Arctic. And finally, sitting right in front of me, I'm here with Dr. Blair Rubel, who is our Vice President for Programs, will be the point person on this issue, and who founded and led our Kennan Institute for decades. So let me briefly share our vision for the Center's Polar Initiative Action Plan. By leveraging the depth and breadth of regional and subject matter experts, as well as assembling a comprehensive team of scholars, The Wilson Center's Polar Initiative, we hope, will be the preeminent U.S. and global Arctic think tank. The Polar Initiative will convene and foster discussion, research, and programmatic activity on Arctic and, yes, Antarctic issues. The purpose is to raise awareness among national and international policymakers by convening government, non-government, scholars, researchers, and other content experts to address many of the practical questions. As the Arctic becomes more important socially, politically, economically, and environmentally, the United States government needs to collaborate, something all of our speakers have said, with indigenous communities, the academic and research community, interested and active nations, the private sector, the state of Alaska, and other stakeholders to build upon existing expertise and leverage economic, scientific, and policy initiatives to focus on the important practical questions. How do we hope to do this? By, as I said, focusing on things like a shared seaway, deploying the right icebreakers, a big issue in the United States, how to spur investment in the region, how to build telecommunications capacity, national security issues, something I focused on for a long time in Congress, and getting new players involved in the region, like key nations in Asia. We know that this is ambitious, but we know that we can do this if we work with you. We need partners, many of them, so that the Center's vision is informed, our work influenced and enhanced, and our products useful, enabling, and actionable. To date, we've identified several organizations and partners that can help us move forward quickly and purposefully. But we know that there are many other potential partners sitting in this room. So let me ask you to reach out to join us as we commit ourselves, actually recommit ourselves, to the people of the North. Together, we can address these practical questions in ways that will make a real impactful difference for the future generations of people. And some young girl sitting on the beach in Los Angeles will understand, as I did not, that she is part of an Arctic nation. As I said, in the next weeks, we'll announce a director. Stay tuned. We are excited and ready to roll. Thank you very much.